Hello and welcome. Take a deep breath and give this moment to yourself. You don't need to hurry. You don't need to be perfect. Just be here, now. Today, we are not only learning English, we are learning how to think differently, how to feel more confident, and how to grow step by step. English is not just a school subject. It's a tool that can open doors, connect you with people around the world, and change how you see yourself. Every new word you learn is like a small seed you plant in your mind. If you water it with practice and patience, it will grow into something strong and beautiful. So, let's slow down, enjoy the process, and let English become not just your skill, but your new way of thinking and living. Today's episode is not simply another lesson. It's a gentle but powerful reminder that goes far beyond grammar or pronunciation. It's about life, about growth, about that invisible moment when something breaks inside you only to rebuild you in a stronger, wiser, more beautiful way. Because if you've ever failed, felt stuck, or doubted your worth, you're about to see that failure is not the end of the story. Sometimes it's the quiet beginning of something extraordinary. So take a deep breath, let go of all tension, and listen closely. Today, we're diving into the hidden power of failure. And you might realize that your biggest fall can become the foundation for your greatest rise. Let's begin. Part 1. When failure breaks you, but builds you too. The word failure sounds heavy, doesn't it? It carries fear, shame, and disappointment. When we fail, our hearts race, our stomach tightens, and we start to question who we are. But what if I told you that failure is not your enemy? What if I told you it's your greatest teacher? A demanding one, yes, but also the one that can change your life completely. Think back to those moments when everything seemed to fall apart. You studied hard for an exam and still didn't pass. You spent weeks working on a project that never got approved. You tried something new and people laughed at you. In those moments, it feels personal, like the world is rejecting you. You feel small, invisible, not good enough. You want to stop trying, to disappear. But that very moment, that painful, dark one, is where true growth starts. Failure doesn't mean you're not capable. It means you're human. It means you have the courage to try, and that courage alone already puts you ahead of those who never dare to begin. Every failure carries a lesson that success will never teach you, because when you fail, you slow down. You start asking yourself honest questions. What did I miss? What can I do better next time? Was I really focused? Did I give up too early? Those questions can hurt, but they push your mind to grow, to see deeper, to understand more. When everything goes well, we rarely stop to think. We celebrate, we move on. But when something goes wrong, we are forced to look closer, to change, to evolve. That is how wisdom is born. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall countless times, yet they never say, "Maybe walking isn't for me." They get up again and again because they instinctively understand that falling is part of the journey. But as we grow older, we lose that innocence. We start to connect failure with shame. We start to believe that mistakes mean we should stop. But in truth, failure doesn't mean stop. It means adjust. It means keep going. It's not a dead end. It's a signpost pointing you in a new direction. Failure is feedback. It's data. It's life's way of refining you. And this idea applies to learning English, too. Every time you forget a word, every time your sentence sounds strange or you don't understand a phrase, that's not failure. That's progress in disguise. Each mistake is proof that your brain is building new connections. Every wrong word you say brings you closer to speaking fluently. Remember, even the most confident English speakers once felt uncertain, afraid to speak. But they didn't stop. They kept going. Because English, like life, rewards persistence. It's not about perfection, it's about patience, practice, and courage to continue even when it feels uncomfortable. So, don't fear your failures, in language or in life. See them as messages, as lessons, as gifts that guide you closer to who you are meant to become. Because when you fall, you are not breaking down. You are breaking open. And from that opening, growth begins. Failure is like a mirror. It shows us what needs to change, what needs to grow, and what is truly worth fighting for. It's not here to destroy us. It's here to guide us. Let me share a story that proves this. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, faced rejection from 12 publishers. 12 times she heard the same cold answer. No. They said her story wasn't good enough, her dream not realistic. Imagine how painful that must have felt. She could have stopped. She could have decided that they were right, but she didn't. She kept believing in her story even when no one else did. And today, millions of people around the world read her books, watch the movies, and feel inspired by her imagination. Was it luck? Maybe just a little. But what truly made the difference was her resilience, her strength to look at failure and say, "This is not the end. This is the beginning." That is what failure can do for you too. It can reveal who you really are. It can build emotional strength, like invisible muscles that grow each time you fall and get back up. It can teach you that your value is not defined by your results. You are not your mistakes. You are your effort, your intention, your courage to stand again when everything inside you wants to quit. But this mindset doesn't come naturally. It's something you must train, like going to the gym for your mind. Each time you face a setback, you practice resilience. You practice calmness. You practice trust in yourself. So next time you fail, don't run away. Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself quietly, what is this trying to teach me? Because failure always carries a message. Sometimes it tells you to prepare better, to focus more deeply, or to take a new direction. Other times, it's just reminding you that your timing is not right yet. But whatever the lesson is, one truth remains. You are not broken. You are becoming. Every successful person you admire, every artist, athlete, or leader, has walked through the same fire. They have failed, doubted, and cried. But what separates them from the rest is not talent or luck. It's persistence. It's their decision to turn pain into purpose, to see rejection as redirection, to keep moving forward even when it hurts. And that's the same energy you need when learning English. You might forget words, make grammar mistakes, or feel shy to speak, but remember, it's all part of the process. Every mistake is proof that you're learning. Every small failure is a sign that you're growing. If you keep showing up day after day, you'll see your progress. English will start to feel natural, and with it, your confidence will grow too. So the next time you feel like a failure, remind yourself of this. You're not falling behind, you're falling forward. And sometimes, falling forward is the only way to learn how to fly. Now, let's move to part 2. Failure is not the end, it's a new beginning. Most people see failure as a closed door, a sign that something is over. But if you look closer, you'll see the truth. Failure is the start of a new story, a better one. It's the moment when you begin to rebuild yourself, stronger, wiser, and more alive than before. Think about all the real lessons you've learned in life, the ones that changed you deeply. Did your biggest lessons in life come from moments when everything went right? Probably not. They came from the times when everything went wrong, when your plans fell apart, and when you had to start again. That's the power of failure. It pushes you to grow in ways success never can. It forces you to face the parts of yourself you usually hide, your fears, your doubts, your weaknesses. And when you finally face them, something deep inside you begins to change. You stop being who you used to be and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Let me tell you about one of the greatest examples of this truth, Oprah Winfrey. Today, she's one of the most successful and inspiring women in the world. But her story didn't start with fame or wealth. Early in her career, she was fired from her first television job. Her boss told her she wasn't good enough for TV. Imagine that. Someone told Oprah she didn't belong on screen. Most people would have accepted that and given up, but not her. She didn't accept the story someone else tried to write for her. She decided to write her own. That's what failure gives you, a choice. You can stay down or you can rise again. And when you rise, not because someone chose you, but because you chose yourself, that's when everything changes. That's when real power begins to grow inside you. Here's something people rarely talk about. When you fail and start again, you are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience. You know more now. You understand what doesn't work. You have stronger skin, deeper patience, and a wiser heart. You carry scars, yes, but those scars don't make you weak. They are proof that you survived, that you kept going when it was easier to stop. We often think failure means the end of the world, but that's only an illusion. It feels that way because we live in a culture of fast success. Everywhere we look, we see perfect pictures, smiling faces, and people showing their victories. Instagram posts, viral videos, stories of people who made it. But what we don't see are the nights of doubt, the rejections, the tears, and the times they almost gave up. Behind every success is a long road of silence, struggle, and persistence. Failure isn't glamorous, but it's real. It's where true growth begins. It's the place where your future self is quietly being born, stronger, wiser, and more determined. And this truth applies to everything, including learning English. You might make mistakes, forget words, or feel embarrassed when speaking, but that's part of the process. Those small failures are not proof that you're bad at English. They're proof that you're brave enough to learn. Every time you make a mistake, your brain grows. Every time you try again, you train your confidence. So don't fear failure, welcome it. Because every wrong word, every correction, every uncomfortable moment is building the version of you who one day will speak English with ease and confidence. Remember, failure doesn't break you, it shapes you, it makes you real, it makes you ready. Let me tell you another story, one that has inspired millions of people around the world. Do you know J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter? Before she became one of the most successful writers in history, she was completely broke. She had no job, no stability, and she was raising her little daughter all alone. Publishers kept rejecting her book again and again, 12 rejections in total. Imagine hearing no 12 times from the people who could have changed your life. But she didn't stop. She kept going because she believed in her story. Maybe deep inside, she understood something powerful, that failure was not the end of her dream, but a necessary part of the journey toward it. 12 doors closed, but she only needed one to open. That's the real power of staying in the game. That's the quiet strength of believing in yourself. even when no one else does. Now I want you to look at your own life for a moment. Think about a time when you failed, something that truly hurt you. Maybe it was a dream that didn't work out, a test you couldn't pass, a job you lost, or a relationship that ended. It's okay to feel that pain, but don't stop there. Ask yourself, what did that experience teach me? Because even in the deepest pain, there is always a lesson. There's wisdom hiding inside every fall. Sometimes your biggest victory is waiting behind your biggest disappointment. The problem is that many people never reach it. They give up too soon. They close their own story before it's finished. But not you. You're still here, listening, learning, growing. That means something. That means you haven't given up. You are still in the fight, and that alone already makes you strong. Here's something you should always remember. Failing does not make you a failure. It makes you human. It makes you real. It makes you brave enough to keep trying when others stop. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to win every time. What matters is that you keep moving forward. Every time you stand up after falling, you become wiser, tougher, more powerful than you were yesterday. In the end, the people who truly succeed in life are not always the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. They are the ones who simply refuse to quit. So the next time you fall, take a deep breath. Wipe your tears. Look at yourself in the mirror and smile. You are not broken. You are becoming. And this is exactly where your real story begins. Part 3. What failure teaches you that success can't. Success feels wonderful. It looks beautiful. It makes people cheer for you. But success doesn't always teach you much. It can make you believe you already know everything, that you don't need to grow anymore. Sometimes it even hides your weak points, the small cracks in your mindset or your habits. Success can make you comfortable, and comfort, if you stay in it too long, can make you stop evolving. Failure, on the other hand, does the opposite. It shines a bright light on every weakness, every blind spot, every wrong belief you didn't see before. It forces you to face the truth about yourself and your actions. And that is a gift, even if it doesn't feel like one at first. Because when you fail, you learn humility, the quiet understanding that you don't know everything. You learn to listen more carefully, to ask deeper questions, to open your mind. And that's where real wisdom begins. It's the same with learning English. When you speak and make mistakes, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's how you grow. Every wrong sentence teaches you something your success never could. Every correction is a small light helping you see your next step more clearly, so don't run from those moments. Welcome them. They're shaping the version of you who one day will speak with confidence and ease. When you fail and get back up, something powerful happens inside you. You stop pretending to know everything and start becoming a true learner. That shift, that hunger to grow, is what creates real, lasting success. There's a saying I love. Smooth seas never made a skilled sailor. Think about it. If the ocean were always calm, no sailor would ever learn to handle the storm. But when the waves rise, when the wind roars, and the sky turns dark, that's when you discover who you really are. That's when you learn courage, resilience, creativity, and patience. These qualities don't come from easy wins. They are earned through failure, through the moments that challenge you to your core. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Before inventing the light bulb, he failed thousands of times. But when people asked how it felt to fail so much, he didn't even use that word. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That's the mindset that separates people who stop from those who make history. because those who continue after failure are the ones who discover their true strength. Now think about your own life, especially your English journey. Maybe you tried to speak and suddenly forgot the right word. Maybe you studied grammar and still made mistakes. Maybe someone laughed at your pronunciation, or maybe you laughed at yourself. It's okay. That's not failure. That's training. Every time you try again, you are becoming stronger. You're building courage because trying again after falling takes real bravery. Anyone can try once, but only a few have the heart to try again and again. That heart, that fire inside you is forged in failure. There's another powerful truth. Failure shows you who your real friends are. When life is going well, everyone wants to be around you. But when things fall apart, when you lose something, when you struggle, that's when you see who truly stands beside you. The ones who stay, who support you without judgment, who believe in you even when you doubt yourself. Those are your real people. That lesson alone can save you years of pain and disappointment. And there's more. Failure makes you more creative. When your first idea doesn't work, you're forced to invent a second one and then a third, each one stronger and more original than before. That process stretches your mind, makes you think differently, helps you grow beyond what you thought possible. That's how true creativity is born. It's no surprise that many of the world's most powerful books, songs, inventions, and companies were created right after failure. Because when people have nothing left to lose, they finally stop copying others and start thinking for themselves. And here's one more lesson, maybe the most beautiful one. Failure teaches you gratitude. It sounds strange, but it's true. When you finally succeed after falling many times, your victory feels deeper. You appreciate it more. You don't take it for granted because you remember the road that brought you there, the sleepless nights, the doubts, the moments you cried and wanted to quit. That journey makes your success feel different. It doesn't taste like luck. It feels like proof. Proof that you earned it, that you grew through the pain, and that you never gave up on yourself. And when you apply this to learning English, it's the same. When one day you realize you can speak fluently, understand movies, or express your thoughts freely, you'll feel a quiet pride because you'll know it wasn't easy. You'll remember every moment of doubt, every mistake, every lesson, and that's what will make your success real, strong, and yours alone. You see, all of this is connected. Every fall, every challenge, every moment of doubt. They're not there to stop you. They're there to prepare you. And learning English works the same way. Every time you sit down to study, every time you forget a word or make a mistake, you're not failing. You're growing. You're training your brain to think differently, to listen more carefully, to express yourself with more freedom. It's not supposed to be easy. Real growth never is. But that's what makes it meaningful. Think of English as your personal ocean. Some days the sea is calm, words flow easily, your pronunciation feels smooth, and everything just works. But other days, waves rise, and you might feel lost in grammar or tired of repeating the same phrases. That's normal. Those are your stormy days, the days that shape your confidence. Because just like a sailor, you become stronger by facing the waves, not by avoiding them. When you keep going, something beautiful happens. One day, you start thinking in English without even realizing it. You listen to a podcast, and suddenly, you understand every sentence. You meet someone from another country and find yourself speaking freely. And in that moment, you'll feel it. That quiet pride that says, I did this. I didn't give up. So don't be afraid of your mistakes. Don't be afraid of slow progress. Every small effort matters. Every page you read, every word you repeat, every conversation you try to start, it's all part of the journey. English is not just a language, it's a new world waiting for you. It gives you access to new ideas, new people, new dreams. It changes how you think, how you feel, how you see yourself. See, remember this. Smooth seas never made a skilled learner either. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to grow. Keep learning, keep trying, and one day, English will no longer feel like something you're studying. It will feel like a part of you, a part that opens the door to a bigger, freer, and brighter life. Proof that you are capable, proof that you are enough, proof that failure did not break you, but built you. If you have failed, good. It means you are trying. It means you are in the game. It means you are walking the same road that strong people have always walked. Promise me this. Do not stop because it is hard. Do not quit because it hurts. And never let one moment define your worth. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are becoming, one lesson at a time, one fall at a time, one steady step at a time. With every failure, you learn what success can never teach. After a fall, the world can feel different, as if the ground has moved. You start to question your talent, your choices, your timing, and sometimes even your value. It is a dark place because failure does not only touch your results, it speaks in your ear with fear and old stories. You will never make it. You are not made for this. Why try at all? But those voices are lies. They are echoes of fear, not facts, and they are not your future. This is the moment where the real story begins, because you have two roads. You can listen to fear and stop, or you can turn failure into fuel and rise again in a new way. How do you return after something that broke your heart? Slowly, but with power. First, breathe and allow yourself to feel the disappointment. You do not need to fake a smile or pretend it did not hurt. When you feel it fully, you can release it. Then reflect step by step. What worked? What did not? Where did you ignore your inner voice? Where did you rush? Where were you not prepared enough? These questions are not easy, but they are the path to growth because failure is a teacher for those who listen. Next, forgive yourself. Guilt keeps you stuck, and self-punishment delays the new chapter, but curiosity opens it. Change. Why did I mess up? To, what was this trying to show me? And you will see your next move. Then rebuild your self-trust, because failure can shake it and make you doubt even when you know the answer. Create small wins you can count on. 10 minutes of reading, 5 useful phrases, a short voice note in English about your day, and each promise you keep makes your inner voice calmer and stronger. This is why learning English is a perfect training ground for your comeback. It builds the same muscles you need in life: patience, attention, courage, and consistency. When you repeat a sentence, when you fix a mistake, when you try again after feeling shy, you teach your brain to choose growth over fear. Day by day, English becomes more than a subject. It becomes your bridge to new ideas, new people, new opportunities, and a new way of thinking. Keep walking. Your future self is already thanking you for not giving up. To rebuild self-trust, you must start small. So small that it almost feels too easy. That's the secret. You begin with little steps, simple promises to yourself that you can keep every single day. Each time you follow through, you prove something powerful. I still can. Maybe you wake up just 15 minutes earlier to study a few new English words. Maybe you record a short video, even if your voice trembles and your accent isn't perfect. Maybe you open that application again after being rejected once before. These small moments may seem unimportant, but they're not. They are the foundation of strength. Each small win is like a brick, and brick by brick, you rebuild a version of yourself that is unshakable. Rebuilding after failure isn't just about effort, it's also about connection. Failure can make you feel alone, as if nobody understands what you're going through. But that's not true. Every strong person has faced this silence, this feeling of emptiness. Reach out to others, not to complain, but to connect. Talk to someone who's been there, someone who has failed and still found their way forward. Listen to their story, because their journey can be your map. When you realize that others have walked this same road, it becomes easier to keep moving. Their courage becomes your reminder that you're not behind. You're simply in the middle of becoming. But the most important thing after failure is the story you tell yourself. Failure gives you two options. The first one is the story of defeat. I'm not good enough. I always fail. I'll never make it. That story keeps you trapped. It makes you believe the pain is permanent. But the second story is the story of becoming. This is part of the process. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm rising. That story gives you freedom. It doesn't erase the pain, but it transforms it. You stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as a chapter, a necessary one, in the story of your life. Think of every artist, athlete, writer, or leader you admire. Every one of them has fallen. Every one of them has faced rejection, criticism, and self-doubt. They were laughed at, told no, and made to feel small. But they didn't stop. They kept rewriting their story again and again. They said, "This failure isn't the end. It's just a rough chapter in a powerful book." And that's exactly what you're doing right now. You're writing your own book, one page at a time, one fall followed by one comeback. Every time you choose to stand up, you are adding another chapter of courage, resilience, and strength. If you're sitting now in the ashes of something that didn't work, a dream, a job, a relationship, a test, please understand this. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. You are shaping something stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. What you build now with your own hands, with your pain and patience, will last. You'll stop caring so much about being perfect, and you'll start caring about being real. You'll stop needing others to clap for you, and you'll start trusting your own quiet confidence. And somewhere along that journey, you'll realize something deep. That learning English is not just about memorizing grammar or vocabulary. It's a reflection of everything you're becoming. Every time you try again after forgetting a word, you're training your mind to rise. Every time you listen, repeat, and understand a little more, you're strengthening your belief that you can. Learning English is an act of courage. It's a decision to grow, to communicate, to open your world. When you practice, you're not only building language skills, you're building patience, discipline, and self-trust. So keep learning, keep believing, keep showing up even when progress feels invisible, because it is there. In every mistake, in every correction, in every new sentence you speak. One day, you'll look back and realize that English didn't just give you words, it gave you confidence. It taught you how to rebuild yourself, how to keep going, and how to create a life where every failure becomes proof of your strength. You're not just learning English, you're learning how to rise. Failure didn't destroy you. It introduced you to the strongest, most real version of yourself. That's the world that comes after failure. It's not the same world you knew before. It's quieter, deeper, and more honest. It's a world where you already know what it feels like to fall, and still you choose to stand up again. Not once, not twice, but every single time. And that, right there, is what makes you unstoppable. Now comes the most important chapter. Your comeback story, the moment when you turn failure into power. You've felt the pain. You've been through the fall, through frustration, through silence. You've sat with disappointment and faced it head on. Maybe you've even cried in the dark, wondering what went wrong. But the beautiful truth is this: you are still here. And because you are still here, your story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning. Every person who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced a moment like this, that fragile moment when giving up feels easier than continuing. But they didn't stop. They chose to turn pain into power, fear into focus, and mistakes into motivation. And you can do the same. Your comeback doesn't begin with loud applause or visible success. It begins with a whisper, a small, steady voice inside you that says, "I'm not done." That voice is the spark of your new beginning. Comebacks are not glamorous. They don't happen under bright lights or in perfect conditions. They are built quietly, when no one is watching. They are built in small, ordinary moments that seem invisible to the world but mean everything to your growth. They look like waking up early even when you feel tired and defeated. They look like studying English again after failing an exam. They look like opening your laptop to apply one more time after being rejected. They look like repeating a sentence until it finally sounds natural. These moments may not look impressive, but they are the building blocks of transformation. Because here's the truth. Every time you get up after falling, you prove that your spirit is stronger than your fear. Every time you choose to learn instead of quit, you remind yourself that failure can't stop you. It can only refine you. That's how comebacks are born. Not from perfection, but from persistence. Not from applause, but from quiet effort. And remember, your comeback doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Success has many faces. Maybe your victory isn't a gold medal. Maybe it's the courage to speak in a meeting. Maybe it's understanding a conversation in English without translating in your head. Maybe it's finishing something you once thought was too difficult. Or maybe it's finally looking in the mirror and saying, "I'm proud of who I am, even if I'm not perfect yet." Those are all comebacks. Real, personal, and powerful. But let's be honest, even during your comeback, fear will still whisper. It will ask, "What if you fail again?" And the truth is, you probably will. Everyone does. But this time, it's different. Now you know what failure feels like. You know how to breathe through it, how to learn from it, and how to stand back up faster than before. That's your superpower. Not avoiding failure, but rising every single time it tries to stop you. And people will notice. Not because you're the loudest or the most confident, but because you're real, you're resilient. You're the one who keeps going when others stop. You're the quiet reminder that strength doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being brave enough to begin again. Your story will matter more than you think. Somewhere out there, someone is feeling the same pain you once felt. And when they see you rise, they'll believe they can rise too. That's how courage spreads, like a ripple that travels farther than you'll ever see. And through it all, your English journey becomes a part of this comeback story too. Every word you learn, every phrase you repeat, every time you speak, even when you're afraid, it's another step in your rise. Learning English is not just about communication, it's about transformation. It's proof that you are still growing, still fighting, still becoming. So keep going, keep building, keep speaking. One word at a time, one mistake at a time, one brave comeback after another. until the day you realized that failure was never the end. It was the beginning of your power, your purpose, and your voice. And as you rise, something deep within you begins to change. You start to see that every failure, every setback, every uncomfortable silence was never working against you. It was shaping you. It was preparing you for the person you were meant to become. Failure didn't take away your strength, it revealed it. It showed you that you can survive disappointment, rebuild trust in yourself, and keep walking when the road feels endless. That is the quiet beauty of a comeback. It's not loud, but it's lasting. You begin to understand that your life is not about avoiding mistakes, but about learning from them. When you fail, the universe isn't saying stop, it's whispering, not yet. It's testing your commitment. It's asking, how much do you want this? How deep does your desire go? And when you keep going, even slowly, even shaking, even afraid, that's when your true transformation begins. You no longer chase validation from others because you start to see that the only approval you ever needed was your own. You stop running from imperfection because you realize it's not your enemy, it's your teacher. Every time you fall and rise again, your mindset grows stronger. You start to view challenges differently. A failed test becomes a lesson in focus. A rejection becomes redirection. A mistake in English grammar becomes proof that you're trying. You begin to love the process, not just the result. And that's where freedom begins, when you stop rushing to arrive and start enjoying the act of becoming. Learning English, too, is part of this same journey. It's your personal mirror of growth. Each time you make a mistake and correct it, you train not just your language skills, but your resilience. Every time you forget a word and find another way to express yourself, you're teaching your mind flexibility. Every time you choose to speak, even when you feel nervous, you're training your courage. This is not about speaking perfectly. It's about expressing yourself honestly, with heart, with persistence, with authenticity. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll notice that something has shifted. You'll listen to a conversation and understand almost everything. You'll speak naturally, without fear of judgment. You'll find yourself thinking in English, not translating. That's when you'll feel proud, not because you reached perfection, but because you didn't give up when it was hard. You stayed in the game. You kept showing up. You turned every small step into a victory. You'll remember the days when studying felt pointless, when you thought you'd never improve. You'll remember the frustration, the exhaustion, the voice that said, "This isn't working." And you'll smile because now you know it was working. Slowly, silently, patiently. Every minute you spent learning built something inside you. It built discipline. It built consistency. It built faith. Your comeback is not about one big success story. It's about the quiet persistence that nobody sees. It's about the mornings you wake up and keep going, even when nobody claps. It's about finding strength in your own voice and realizing you don't need the world's approval to move forward. Because success doesn't happen in a single moment, it's built in thousands of unseen ones. And here's something powerful. When you rebuild yourself, you begin to see failure differently. It's no longer a sign of weakness. It becomes a badge of honor, proof that you were brave enough to try. The people who never fail are simply those who never dare to step outside their comfort zone. But you did. You dared to dream, to act, to speak, to learn. That's courage. And courage will take you further than perfection ever could. You start to realize that your worth has never depended on your results. You are worthy when you begin, not just when you succeed. You are enough when you try, not only when you win. The real victory is in the effort, in choosing to rise, to grow, to believe in your ability to evolve. So if today feels heavy, if your dream feels distant, remind yourself that this moment is part of your comeback. Every great story includes a struggle. Every hero has a chapter of doubt. And you, right now, are living through yours. But you won't stay here. You'll learn, you'll adapt, you'll move forward. That's what makes you unstoppable. Look around. The world rewards those who keep showing up. The ones who fail and try again are the ones who build lasting confidence. They become examples for others. They prove that progress is possible for anyone who's willing to stay the course. That's who you're becoming, not just someone who speaks English fluently, but someone who knows how to keep growing no matter what life throws their way. Imagine this. 1 year from now, you'll look back on today and realize how far you've come. The words that once confused you will feel natural. The sentences that once scared you will flow easily. The self-doubt that used to stop you will become your motivation. You'll be able to say, I didn't wait for confidence, I built it. And the truth is, that's what English gives you. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary. It's about rewiring your mind for growth. It's about learning to think differently, to trust yourself, to see possibilities instead of problems. Every new word you learn expands your world. Every conversation you have connects you with people you could never reach before. Every lesson shapes a stronger version of you, someone who can adapt, communicate, and create their own future. So keep walking, keep learning, keep believing. You don't need perfect conditions, perfect timing, or perfect English. You just need persistence, faith, and the courage to keep going. Because your comeback story isn't written in applause, it's written in effort. It's written in every moment you choose to rise when no one is watching. And one day, when you speak fluently, when you understand everything, when your dreams no longer feel impossible, you'll realize something beautiful. It wasn't the language that changed you. It was the journey. It was the patience, the discipline, the hope. It was every failure that taught you how to stand tall. So let the world celebrate perfection. You celebrate persistence. Because the real magic is not in never falling, but in becoming stronger every time you do. Keep learning, keep dreaming, keep becoming. Your story is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning. And this time, it's written by someone who knows her strength,